The hits just keep coming. Just keep coming. Coaches getting fired left and right, man. This is the motto of the entire year. And just to add a little salt to the wound to all these coaches, Brian Kelly just got fired. This is a guy I've been talking about getting fired for the last 3 years. Not trying to pat myself on the back, but we knew his fake ass was going to be gone eventually because he just got this thing about him, man. He's got this aura about him, a sleazy aura. Of course, his dad was a politician, I think, in Boston, Massachusetts. But this is the theme of the season so far. Let me bring something up for y'all. We may bring Killer Breeze in here for just a second, too, because we also got some more controversy with the Oklahoma Sooners. John Mateer and the Oklahoma Sooners. There's a little shadiness possibly going on. I didn't say it, but there's some people saying it, and Killer Breeze wants to tell us a little parable, little short stories, so to speak. But before we get to all that, check this out. This is, in my opinion, the motto of this season.
You're fired! What? You're fired!
And that's been the motto of the entire freaking season. You're fired. You didn't happen to catch the Vince McMahon compilation there, did you?
I did see that. You're fired.
You think that sort of fits this season so far with all these coaches? Man, I've never seen this many coaches. I mean, it's not a real good year to fire your coach. I'm already hearing that LSU's going after some big names already.
You have never seen this many because it has never happened before. We've never had this many mid-season firings in one season before.
Not only that, but now LSU says they're going after Lane Kiffin. So it might be a bid war between them and Florida, which is the better job. Who knows? I think my LSU job is a slight bit better, but they're also talking about Dabo Swinney because Dabo Swinney and Clemson aren't getting along too well these days, and Dabo had been rumored for the LSU job before. So Dabo Swinney is also a name that's popped up already.
Well, I could see that. I mean, I could see Dabo at LSU. It'd be kind of ironic that he goes from that Clemson Death Valley to LSU's Death Valley. That'd be kind of nuts.
First batter up tonight, who do you think it is?
What's that?
Who do you think the first batter up is?
Thunder. Of course it's Thunder.
Thunder OU Sooner says, weirdo Kelly gets fired. In the words of Vince McMahon, you're fired. And that's where I got the epiphany from. Because once again, this show's about the Common Joe and the Common Sally in the know, even more so than all the many talking heads. And me and Killer Breeze and all the Common Joe's been telling y'all Brian Kelly's a farce. And also been hearing a little rumor that maybe Oklahoma's play has been a little suspect the last couple of weeks. I know John Mateer was injured and he didn't look too good against Texas. We expected that. But
well, we'll get to that.
The reason why I'm getting to it so quickly is they already bitching about the title. I sort of said Oklahoma's Mateer Shady in the title. And Ghost of Kel Gundy says shadiness, other than him not being accurate, not throwing to open receivers. What's the shadiness about? You want to go ahead and spill the beans on this? You got a little story, don't you?
Well, I'm just saying, the Texas game as well as the South Carolina game, even though they won against South Carolina, it was well known that he missed reads of receivers that were wide open. And I was listening to Gabe and Teddy break the game down because I'm always interested, particularly in what Gabe has to say about the offense. And Gabe was beside himself he was baffled, perplexed, if you will, at Mateer not just misreading or not making good reads. I'm talking about plays that were designed for the primary receiver, and that primary receiver was wide open, specifically Satania, and Mateer was looking right at him, wide open.
All he needed was a first down. All he needed was a first down.
No, I'm talking about 2 touchdowns, wide open, and he's looking right at him. And for some reason, again, to Gabe's complete dumbfoundedness, he doesn't throw the ball.
They're late in the game. Oklahoma's driving to possibly tie the game, and guy's wide open for a first down, and he throws to a guy that's covered going towards the end zone.
So you start asking yourself, well, man, that is odd. What I mean, why? Again, why? And then why would that happen? Why would that, he's wide open, he's looking right at him. It's not like he missed the read. He was looking at the read. By the way, the player that was the primary player of the fucking design of the play. And he doesn't throw the ball. And then what else is in the news right now? What's going on in the NBA? What's happening in the NBA right now? Isn't there some big news in the NBA has something to do with what was it? Sports gambling?
Yeah, fixing games, that kind of deal. And then we had a SEC official that was suspiciously suspended for the rest of the season for going back and correcting a call that looked like Auburn scored a touchdown on Georgia.
Yeah, and then remind me, earlier before the season got started, or was it right after the season started? What didn't John Mateer have wasn't there? I seem to remember a Venmo transaction. What did he call that transaction? What did he term it himself? Sports gambling, right? Wasn't that what it said? Sports gambling?
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is maybe he's not throwing him the ball because John's got a sports gambling problem. Crazier things have been known to happen. That's all I'm saying. Crazier things have been known to happen.
And then when he was asked about it, he sort of
his thumb, man. His thumb ain't helping him see the ball, see the players.
Well, when he was asked about the betting thing too, he sort of nervously played it off. I didn't really buy it, and neither did you. I mean, like he said, him and his friends were just joking around, and I'm like, why would you joke around about something like that? I mean, that's something that can get you suspended or basically kicked out of football altogether if they find out you're gambling on games, right? I mean, that's not really something you'd play around about. It'd be like somebody getting killed and you saying, oh, I murdered them. Come on now. You wouldn't say some shit like that, would you?
Look, I told you this when we were talking offline. The likelihood of this being what's going on, the real thing of what's going on is probably very low. But you cannot say with 100% certainty that that's not what it is. You can't say that. You just can't. And it's crazy to me that this guy, who a lot of people were saying was going to go in the first top 10 of the draft, was the Heisman leading quarterback, looked pretty damn good in the beginning of the year, granted against lower competition, but he wasn't having accuracy issues like he's having now. He was never as accurate as Baker, but I mean, he's goddamn, he can't hit the broadside of a barn right now. So I'm just saying, man. Saying you can't say it isn't. You cannot say with 100% certainty that is not true. It is absolutely plausible based on the things that I've said.
The NCAA just stupidly, in my opinion, about 2 or 3 weeks ago, approved it to where they could gamble on sports. The student athletes.
Dude, this is going to happen a lot.
Why don't you do that? I don't get it, man. It's like they want that shit to happen.
This thing going on in the NBA with them throwing games and fixing games, and now with his gambling as prevalent as it is and as big as it is, I'm with you. I'm completely baffled at why not just has professional sports allowed it, they've embraced it and promulgated it, man. They ask you to do it. I mean, they basically are motivating you to do it. So you think that that people they're not going to catch people that are, on down on their luck or just greedy as hell. It's going to be too easy, too tempting. And then you're going to have the people that just get in trouble, get themselves in a position where they just can't say no because they're just in with the wrong people. It happens. It's always happened. And you think it's going to happen less now that it's legal? No way.
Let's back up for just a second because I think you want to talk about LSU a little bit because you did graduate from there. So you're getting a lot of stuff thrown your way all at one time, man. Both your teams are having some issues, right?
Well, yeah. Well, I mean, and you and I were talking before this, but right before this news came out, and I was saying, look, I know, having lived in Baton Rouge and graduated from LSU and lived in Baton Rouge for 10 years, I knew losing to A&M like that at home, there was no way he was going to make it. That I thought maybe the end of the year, but there was no way he was not going to get fired this year. No chance. And I guarantee you, having not been on one LSU message board, because I haven't been on one, I guarantee you every one of them is going back to the day he faked that Louisiana accent. Because that was the day when we knew that dude is full of you-know-what, and this guy ain't going to make it. He's not cut out. You got to be cut from a certain cloth to make it down there, man. You can't be fake at all. They see through that in a heartbeat. If you come in there with some BS, they're not stupid, man. They're not stupid. No matter what the, people like to say about those folks down there. They're not dumb.
Well, right out the gate, man. I mean, he does that. And it'd be different if he was playing around and joking, but he wasn't. He actually thought that everybody believed him. He thought we were that stupid. He probably fed into the stereotype of how dumb Southern people are. And we're not really stupid. We just talk a little slower. Just because we talk slower don't mean we're stupid, right? So, like you said, out the gate, man, it was just like you could tell this guy, he is full of crap, man. Even at Notre Dame, he talked all that smack about Notre Dame, how he couldn't win championships or go to the playoffs with him. Now Notre Dame has went to the national title game without him. So, yeah, the guy is just, you could tell he's just not a very good human being. And from this headline here, says, let me see if I got the right one up first. All right. Yeah. LSU faithful made their displeasure known Saturday night, raining Fire Kelly chants throughout the stadium. When I saw that shit, I was like, uh-oh. That shit's fixing to come down, man. And, man, it's just funny. Me and you were talking about it, and I just happened to click on my CBS, and 34 minutes after we was talking about it, he was fired.
Yeah, man, they're just not gonna put up with that. And when you're not winning, and not only are you not winning, you're getting your behind kicked at home, embarrassed. That second half was embarrassing. They were leading at halftime, and in the second half they just got massacred at home. You're not just losing, you're embarrassing the program. So look, man, they've had too much success over the last, 20 years. They're not gonna. They're used to it now. They know that they're capable of it. So they're not gonna, A
lot of people are misled by the buyouts. Like, you can't get rid of this coach. You got too big of a buyout. A lot of these buyouts got big numbers, but they're staggered a little bit differently. Like Alabama's buyout with Kalen DeBoer is $65 million, but we pay it like in monthly installments, which makes it more feasible for us to get rid of it. Well, I think the same thing goes with Brian Kelly here. It's a $50+ million buyout, but I think it's staggered in such a way that LSU doesn't really have to pay it all at once.
They don't. From what I understand, they are able to pay it over a six year period, so they can spread it out over 6 years. But on top of that, if he gets another job, his buyout is reduced by the amount of money whatever his present job is paying him each year. So if he gets another job that's paying him as much or more than what LSU owes him, then LSU doesn't have to pay him anything.
Check this out, man. This little clip right here. It says Kelly arrived at the facility around 8:30 a.m. local time, intent on evaluating his staff, according to sources, and exploring significant potential changes to the coaching staff. By early afternoon, though, after a meeting with Woodward that did not go well, according to sources, the conversation around Kelly's future began to change. Just like Brian Kelly, he's going there and trying to blame somebody else.
Yeah.
That's what he's done the whole time he's been there. He even throws his players under the bus.
Yeah, man. He's never been a good fit down there. He's never been a good fit. And this is LSU's, LSU outside of Nick Saban, LSU's got a horrible track record of hiring coaches. They've just traditionally done a terrible job of that. And I don't know why, because LSU is always, they've shown it by winning 3 national championships under 3 different coaches in the last, 20 years or so. So they when they have the right coach in place, they keep all of their in-state talent, which is always actually pretty damn good. I think Louisiana is one of the highest per capita representatives of players in the NFL. But anyway, they do a good job. So he's not gonna, he was never a good fit. The only way he was gonna make it down there was if he won, and if he won a lot. Not being a contender, they're not going to put up with that.
That first year when he beat Alabama and Nick Saban, I think he gave him a lot of collateral. He'd probably been done gone before now.
Maybe. Now, keep in mind, it is true that with this NIL world that we live in, and the settlement with they've got to come up with a lot of money. It's going to make it a lot harder to fire these coaches that have these big salaries.
Because it says that the 30-day transfer portal window will open for LSU players on Monday. I thought that had changed.
No, I think if your coach gets fired or if he leaves, that it opens up immediately, or that you get a 30-day window. I don't know if it's immediate or if they schedule it to start at a certain point, but you heard that changed?
I thought that they couldn't leave the team until January 2nd. I thought that was the only transfer portal window that was allowed to open anymore, but maybe since his coach is leaving, maybe that's a different thing and whatnot. I was going to ask y'all for a favor. Y'all hit me up talking about super chats. We don't do super chats anymore because this channel got demonetized for resharing Charlie Kirk TikTok videos, and I won't be able to monetize the channel again to December 14th. So if you want to donate to the channel, you'll see it coming across the screen down here. It's money $JPC316 on Cash App or on Venmo. That's the only way we can take donations to the program now. That's the only way we can curb this censorship that they continue to try to saddle me with all the time. Storm 4601 says, Killer, isn't the LSU area a bad place to live? I heard it's not good in Baton Rouge.
I just answered his question. I mean, man, first of all, the amount of money that those coaches are making, they live in the nicest areas of Baton Rouge. So where they live, it's no problem. But in general, where LSU's campus sits, it's not that bad. It's not that far away from some rough spots. But, that's probably true of unfortunately, most bigger cities these days. And Baton Rouge, it's not a huge area, but it's the second largest city in Louisiana. And, it's got some good spots and some bad spots.
Lester says Brian Kell's going to be working at pay-as-you-go car lot selling nothing but lemons. He does sort of remind you of a car salesman or a politician. When he was coming into the game the other day against Texas A&M, he was going towards the stadium. He's just doing this right here to people. He's just like,
yeah.
He looked just like somebody campaigning or something, man. Just like his daddy, man. He's just got that politician look about him, man.
He's a fraud, man.
Directions 101 wants to say, before we throw or float accusations out there, we better have evidence of that. I mean, we were in Mateer's shoes and threw out the possibility of throwing games. We demand proof.
Really? I answered him, actually. I answered on the message board. I have zero proof Zero. And again, I'm not even saying I'm admitting that it's complete conspiracy theory stuff, and the likelihood is probably low. But my point is, based on the things that I mentioned, you can't say that it's not plausible. It absolutely is. Why? It makes no sense if he's looking at a wide open receiver. Why isn't he throwing a wide open receiver?
Well, it
By
wasn't
the way,
just
not
one.
just any wide open receiver, his favorite wide open receiver, his
Well,
favorite receiver in
well,
the team.
well, it wasn't just once.
And it was more than once. And it's in multiple games. Crazier things have happened, man. You can't sit here and say that that's not possible. Now, again, I can appreciate where corrections is coming from. He's not, I'm not, and again, corrections. I am not saying this is a fact. These are true facts. But my point is, you go back and you think about the Venmo thing with the sports gambling stuff, and right away you got a plausibility right there. It's plausible that he does gamble on sports.
I always said, and I said to you in comments during the game Saturday, I was like, man, he just him coming back for that Texas game may have set y'all back in the big picture of things, even if he's not gambling or any of that conspiracy stuff.
Well,
I think if they had let him just rest and chill out for a couple of weeks and maybe take off the Texas and South Carolina game, I think it would have benefited Oklahoma and John Mateer a lot more.
Maybe, man. I mean, at the end of the day, because it does, it doesn't make a lot of sense. It just doesn't make a lot of sense. He says himself the thumb is not an issue. He's been playing, like it's not a problem for a couple of weeks now. And it's just odd to me that a guy who is such a gamer is having such a hard time all of a sudden. It's all of a sudden he's not accurate at all. I mean, there's one thing, he was always a gunslinger. He was always that shortstop playing quarterback, sidearming, So he was never accurate like Baker was. That was not necessarily, I'm not trying to say he was the most accurate, that he didn't have some accuracy issues before. He had some, but they were not the norm. Now it's the norm for him to be way off, not even close, and doing dumb things like, the play where it was a designed run for him to run the ball and he flips out and spazzes out and starts running around and then decides to pass the ball when the line is already 5 yards down the field. That's stupid. And where is that coming from? That is not the guy that we saw in the beginning of the year.
You mentioned the 2 touchdown passes that he missed on Satania. Is that his name?
Yeah.
Satania, how you say his name?
Satania.
But the one that stood out to me, and I hate to keep harping on it, was the one that Greg McElroy pointed out when y'all were driving to maybe tie the game. Instead of going for the touchdown from on the 20 or 30-yard line, the guy's wide open for a first down. All you need to do is convert that first down and give yourself 4 more downs to win that game. And he didn't do it. It was easy, simple to get the first down. Common sense tells you get that first down, then worry about the touchdown because you still got plenty of time to get the touchdown.
Yeah, another baffling play. Again, just one more baffling play. So again, it's conspiracy theory stuff. It's a hot take, if you will. But my point is, again, particularly with the Venmo controversy in the beginning of the, earlier in the year, it's awfully funny that now all of a sudden we got a guy that was the leading Heisman candidate, was talking about going 6th or 7th in the draft in the NFL, first quarterback off the board. Neither one of those things are even remotely possible now, by the way. But that's who he was in the beginning of the year. And all of a sudden, we're having these issues where wide open, obvious, seemingly easy plays are either not happening at all or he's missing crazy. I mean, even the 2-point conversion.
Well,
Tory
the
Blaylock.
NBA, the NBA stuff has turned all this thing on its head, and then they suspend referees for doing shady stuff too, all at the same time. And then this stuff with material starts happening. So it's very plausible, and it makes everything like Arsenio Hall back in the day. Makes you, it's just things that make you go, what the hell?
That's what I'm saying.
You're not saying he's doing it, but he's saying it is plausible.
I'm just saying, wouldn't it be funny if we find out later on that this was what was going on? Because now all of a sudden, if that is the case, now all these things that don't make any sense make total sense. That's always a funny thing too, when this really obvious answer that you think is just, oh, there's no way, but you plug it in, and all of a sudden, all of these things that make no sense, that people like Gabe Eichert can't even make sense of it, and all of a sudden you plug that in and you go, oh shit, well, it makes total sense now. Makes total sense. That's all I'm saying. But corrections, I appreciate where you're coming from. Again, I don't have any proof of that.
NIL committee says that Brian Kelly will be looking for another accent, says NIL committee. Yeah. I don't know if there's anywhere else he can go. He done went north and south, so I guess he could go out to – I guess he could be UCLA's coach. UCLA might take him.
Yeah.
UCLA needs a coach, right?
Hey, Tim Gillespie says – Tim Gillespie brings up the play calling. By the way, the OCF, Jesse can confirm that I'm also not happy with Arbuckle's play calling. But when you start taking all of the missed plays into consideration, his play calling doesn't look quite as bad. There are still some things, yes, that will make no sense. Like, why in the hell wasn't he just running the ball down their throat? Xavier was running 8 yards a clip and a 65-yard run. Dude goes, but he gets 9 carries total. He gets his finishing line is 9 for 109. He's killing it. That's over 10 yards a play, right? That's like 12 yards a play, something like that. And we barely give him the ball, and especially after we lose the lead. I don't get it. So Tim, I would agree with you. The play calling sucked too.
Yeah, well, I mean,
it certainly wasn't.
What I would say to that is, I'm sure that Ben Arbuckle, if he called a play and Mateer sees a guy that's wide open, I'm sure that Arbuckle would expect him to take that play. Right?
Well, yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know if you can blame Ben Arbuckle. It's Mateer's decision making that's the issue here.
Well, again, certain things like they should have run the ball. We clearly have an issue in the running back room. I didn't understand why when Xavier seemed like our best back last year. I never understood why he wasn't. Maybe if I remember correctly, he might have been a little dinged up in the beginning of the year. But again, still, all of a sudden here we are at the end of the year. We're in week 9, and he just put up our best performance by a running back all year, which by the way was only 9 for 109. Which also, again, we should have, clearly we could have won that game. We should have won that game. So the play calling is a problem. And I said on this show that BV better know what he's doing hiring Ben Arbuckle, because Arbuckle did not have a very long resume. It was a good resume, but it was a very brief resume. It was not long. He didn't have years and years and years of success.
So what I want to know here is, bottom line. Let me see what was that guy's name that was caught up in that scandal with the NBA, the basketball player from Miami.
What's that?
Name? What was that guy's name from Miami? The one's caught up in the scandal, the betting scandal.
Rozier.
Rozier. So bottom line here, if you had to give a verdict right now, and if someone cornered you and they said, "Hey, do you think that John Mateer's been hanging out with Terry Rozier?" What would you say? Sounds like you might have been maybe talking to Terry Rozier in the offseason about how to bet.
Yeah, I mean, you never know. No, I doubt that seriously is happening.
I mean, NBA starts gambling and getting caught up. It started with John Mateer, actually. All this shit started with John.
Well, again, I'll tell you this. Like, again, the sports gambling, you're gonna see a lot more of what you're seeing in this NBA scandal. You're gonna see that a lot more.
So basically, you're saying John Mateer and Terry Rozier are best friends. Is that what you're telling me?
No, that's not what I'm telling you. That's not what I'm telling you.
I won't get myself in trouble in here tonight.
Yeah.
But backing up for a second to your alma mater, LSU, it says that their coaching candidates right now are Lane Kiffin and Dabo Swinney. Those are the premium ones. But as far as you as an alumnus, I mean, who do you think y'all can actually get? Do y'all think y'all can get Lane Kiffin or Dabo?
I think LSU is a great job. I mean, I don't know why they couldn't. I mean, in fact, out of the jobs that are open right now, LSU to me is the best one.
Can you see that? This is their list of candidates. They got Joe Brady, the offensive coordinator for the Buffalo Bills. Wasn't he the offensive coordinator for that great team that y'all had?
He was.
2019.
He was. Yes, he was.
He might be a cheaper hire too.
I could see Joe Brady. They got a lot of love for Joe Brady in Baton Rouge.
I mean, I would say that Joe Brady was probably the reason y'all won that national title, won't you?
He was a big part of it. I mean, he was a damn big part of it. Joe Burrow was a big part of it too. He had this year and he also had two unbelievable NFL caliber receivers. They just had a lot of good on that team. But that's typical of an LSU football team. They usually have a ton of talent.
What about James Franklin? Would you be interested in giving him a chance?
Well, listen, James Franklin has success in the SEC. Granted, on a low level, but he was successful, relatively speaking, at Vanderbilt. So I don't know what to think about James Franklin, to be honest with you. I know he's a good coach. He's obviously a good coach. But he would not be my choice.
This guy's on everybody's list, and he'd be in your backyard. What about John Summerall, Tulane?
I mean, listen, man, I could see it. I could see this one too. He's right there. He's right there. But this crazy butt, Jimbo Fisher, no chance.
Now, Jimbo Fisher might be going back to Florida State. That shit could happen.
Now, Jimbo Fisher was the offensive coordinator under Nick Saban when they won a national championship. So there is a tie to LSU. But the time for Jimbo Fisher to have been the head coach, Jimbo should have gotten the job when Ed Ogeron got the job. Jimbo should have been the hire. But I can't remember what held that up. I can't remember what the problem was there.
Yeah, something happened because it sounded like it was a done deal and it just fell through.
Yeah, something went on and it didn't happen. So Jimbo is not coming back to LSU. I would be willing to put a lot of money on that.
You think they try to steal Notre Dame's coach again?
Well, I think Marcus Freeman is a pretty damn good coach. So far he's proven to be pretty good. I wouldn't be upset with that hire.
Look at the one at the bottom.
Yeah, that ain't happening either. I don't think Miss Terry enjoyed living in Baton Rouge too much.
Really? I thought they liked LSU.
I don't think they hated it necessarily, but the word always was that she didn't like living there too much.
Yeah.
And actually,
Baton Rouge ain't a nice town, but I don't know. I've never been to Baton Rouge.
When Saban, when Texas tried to get Saban in, that was the rumor that Miss Terry wanted to live in Austin.
Yeah. They almost went to Austin until that tornado hit here. They might have left and went to Texas.
Yeah.
Had that tornado not hit Tuscaloosa, I think that had a lot to do with them staying and not going to Austin.
Do you think that was it, really?
I think it had something to do with it because they were involved with the community during that time, and a lot of things were pulling at the heartstrings there. And I think their daughter may have been enrolled in Tuscaloosa Academy here as well, as far as high school goes. I don't know, man. All I know is he didn't go to Texas, and I'm glad he didn't.
He did not go to Texas.
That wouldn't be good for me or you.
They did try to get him, though. They did. No, I did not want that to happen. I was not happy about that.
NIL commission, I'm struggling to figure out whether he's being sarcastic here. I think he's being a little tongue in cheek. I think he's trying to rile y'all up a little bit. But he says Brent Venables is the best coach ever. Everybody knows this.
Yeah. I think he's trying to I definitely think he's trying to jab a little bit.
If Jeff Lebby had won that game against Texas last week, and he should have, we all know that they got screwed on that. That was some bullshit. And I don't have a dog in the fight. I'm not a Mississippi State or Texas fan. That guy was clearly out of bounds. He did not have control of the fucking ball.
The call,
language. That shit pissed me off.
The call on the field was not a catch, incomplete. How do you
turn that shit over?
You can't. There was not enough video evidence to turn it over one way or the other. You have to stick with the original call. That was what part that was really BS about it. But on top of that, I didn't think the video, everything that we saw, and I think we see pretty much everything they see. Everything we saw, there was no point where you could tell for sure that his hands were around the ball or not. The only time where you could tell that had happened for sure, his foot was already off the ground.
Exactly. The reason I brought it up,
typical media slobbing on Texas's knob, dude. That's all it was. And then that's what happens. They love getting on their knees for Texas. I don't know what it is, but they've been doing that for as long as I can remember.
The only reason I bring that up is if he had won that game, and he already beat Arizona State earlier, maybe Jeff Lebby's name starts popping up for some of these jobs because he's doing a really good job at Mississippi State considering what he was given. The shit. It was just a shit show when he came into it. The guy, Mike Leach, had just died. The interim coach that took over just left it in shambles. And he's doing a decent job. I mean, if he just gets some of these games, man, maybe his name comes up as a possible head coach at some of these blue blood programs.
He is. I mean,
maybe even Oklahoma.
I doubt it. I don't know what again, man, I've seen proof that Oklahoma has what it takes to win. Their defense is good enough that I think moving Foje to right tackle is going to work out well. So they can do this. They can clearly run the ball. They've proven it now a couple of games in a row. And, if they can just put it together on offense, they can win. They could theoretically win out, even though winning against Alabama is going to be really tough. And I'm worried about Tennessee, of course.
Well, it ain't like y'all got blew out, man.
Huh?
It ain't like y'all got blew out by Ole Miss. Y'all were right there.
That's what I'm saying. We had the lead in the second half. We should have won the game.
Right.
So, and according to Gabe Eicher, if Mateer hits, Satania on those open, we do win the game handily. So
Missouri and LSU have become very doable because of their situations.
Missouri's quarterback is out.
Yep, and LSU's got now. The LSU really doable. They got a damn coaching controversy going on in the middle of the year.
Yeah.
So if y'all were to lose one of those two games, that might start the rumor mill on Brent Venables getting the axe. Wow. If he can't win those two games with those two teams in the situations they're in, they may start talking about Brent Venables' future.
That's why this Ole Miss game was so important, because if you win the Ole Miss game, You can still lose you can still lose to Tennessee and to Alabama. And as long as you win Missouri and LSU, you finish the year at 9-3. And even though you probably don't make the playoff, I think everybody with this schedule at the beginning of the year, if you said, hey, I'll just give you 9-3, will you take it? I would have. I absolutely would have. So, now that you've lost to Ole Miss, you're staring 8-4 right in the mouth, dude. I mean, that's just a fact. You somehow have to win one of these next two. You've got to. Otherwise, you're gonna end up 8-4 if you're lucky. You could end up 7-5. I mean, that's still very possible. What about LSU rallies under whoever's the interim coach?
Yeah.
What if they rally?
Well, that and Missouri's backup quarterback didn't look awful against Vanderbilt. He threw a Hail Mary pass, got him down the 1 yard line.
Well, I mean, again, that's what I'm saying. They could easily lose those games too. So it's nut cutting time, man.
Is there any way?
BV, it is on the line, man.
Is there any scenario
together?
Is there any scenario that you can see that would get Brent Venables fired this year?
Is there any scenario that gets him fired this year? Absolutely.
Can he lose out and still keep his job this year?
No.
If he goes 6-6, will they get rid of him?
He's out. He's done.
About 7-5.
Nope.
Done.
Especially with the new AD coming in, no way.
About 8-4. I think he keeps his job at 8-4. He keeps his job at 8-4.
Possible. It's possible. Because if he goes 8-4, I'm presuming that the other two losses are Tennessee and Alabama, which are on the road. The last two games. What's that?
Can't presume anything because look what almost happened to Alabama.
No, you can't. I said earlier they could win out. That's what I'm saying. They could.
But the way college football is, Corrections 101 says beat Tennessee, Missouri, and LSU, and Bama will be tough in Tuscaloosa. Watch what happens is, like last year, Oklahoma beat us when they were 6-6. They could lose all three of those games and then beat Alabama on homecoming. That's the way college football operates, man.
Yeah, that's possible too.
And watch me say it. And I was actually thinking to myself, and I know this is blasphemy probably to Alabama fans out there, but if Alabama were to have lost that game, we could have probably got us a first round home game instead of getting that stupid ass bye. I was thinking to myself, man, and I do Uber, and the students leave during December, but if they have a playoff game here, that helps me.
Yeah.
That helps the economy of Tuscaloosa. We've never played a game here in the middle of December.
Well, I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting the way we're going to see how it fares. We're in the home stretch now. It's crazy how fast it goes, but we're in the home stretch now, the last third of the year.
Matty D says the litmus test for making an accusation is not whether the accused can prove the accusation is false. There's a good chance your channel was demonetized for a reason. You're stupid. I don't know what else to say other than you're dumbass, dude. What's that got to do with anything? My channel was demonetized. I explained it a while ago. If you was listening, if you know habla inglés, just let me know. I mean, I think Killer speaks a little Spanish. Are you some kind of I don't know. Did you learn across the border or something?
He also says there is zero chance BV is fired this year unless there are disciplinary issues. Homeboy, I promise you this. He ain't going to be the coach next year.
In other words, he's saying that you're
going 6-6 or 7-5. High likelihood he is out.
He's saying that your accusations that you're making was what got my channel demonetized. My channel's been demonetized for a while, man. Let me explain this again since he wasn't in here, obviously. My channel got demonetized because I reshared Charlie Kirk TikTok videos in my short section. And they told me, you're not allowed to do that, so we're going to demonetize you. They didn't give me a warning or anything. They just done it. And I've been resharing those kind of videos for a while. They just weren't Charlie Kirk videos. So, I just find it suspicious that happened. And we all know that YouTube's sort of liberal anyway. But since you brought up Matty D, if you would like to help curb some of the censorship, down here at the bottom, you'll see across the scroll is how we get around that, because people have been donating to my channel left and right. Actually, I'm making more money than their monetization. The monetization that they were paying me, I'm actually making more money doing donations through Cash App now, which is money $ JPC316 on Venmo, JPC316. Sorry about that, Killer.
No, you're good, man. You're good. So, with all due respect, Matty, I completely disagree. ABV World says the offensive scheme and the QB are the biggest problems right now. I totally agree. It's not the O-line, man. It's really not. And, Fasusi and Foje are true freshmen. They're holding down the most important spots outside of the center on the line. And they're going to keep getting better. And so it's not the line. Both Robinson and Blaylock have proven they've got 100-yard backs on the roster. So they've got I think it's scheme and material. And those things need to improve immediately. We don't have time to waste.
Richard Young says if John keeps looking like he does, we'll be lucky to win another game. That's true. And I think you were talking about Kayla, right? Kayla Taylor. Taylor says BB is not in a job protection program. OU may not get another win this season.
That's 100% correct. If they don't get it together, they may not win again. That is very possible. Very possible. But if they do get their act together and start playing complementary football again and getting the offense to get, again, the offense with the defense as good as it is, the offense doesn't have to be number one. They just need to be proficient. They just got to be good. They don't have to be great. But they've got to be able to score points, and they have to be able to run the ball and throw the ball, both.
So as far as this coaching carousel goes, you think we're done, or do you think we're going to see another one? Florida State, maybe?
Oh, no. Florida State's definitely getting rid of Norvell. I can't imagine they're keeping Norvell around. So he's going to be gone.
Like Hugh Freeze at Auburn.
Hugh Freeze, I was just about to say, depending on how Auburn ends the year, I would imagine Auburn's going to lose to Alabama.
Yeah, you can imagine, but it might not happen.
Yeah, well.
Man, Auburn's like a boogaboo for us.
Yeah, that's true. Anything's always possible, but you got to imagine it. Now, Auburn did just win on the road at Arkansas. Not that Arkansas has been any world beaters, but I was surprised that they won. They won by 9. I think they won 33-24, if I remember correctly. So, but you got to imagine they've got another couple of losses out of the last 4. So, I'd be very surprised if they brought Hugh Freeze back. I mean, what do you think?
I've never seen this many SEC programs fire their coaches in 1 year. What is it now? 3? You got LSU, Florida, and Arkansas. All 3 fired their coaches in the middle of the year.
Yeah.
That's a lot of coaches from a Power 5 conference like that, Power 4.
No, I wasn't joking earlier when I said I don't think it's ever happened before. I don't think we've had this many in the middle of the season get fired before the end of the season. I think this is the first time we've had this many already, and there's probably more coming. By the way, Kayla Taylor also says she tries to be optimistic, but it's hard when OU left points on the field out of error and lack of discipline. I couldn't agree more. They left a lot of points on the field, and that's another thing that worries me, man. This is something that's always kind of been a problem, and to me, man, this is a coaching thing. It's just like the penalties, man, just the lack of discipline on game day, man. We just, especially on special teams, I've just come to expect a penalty when we either kick the ball off or return the ball. I don't understand why, but we can't run a special teams play without getting a penalty. And we're also getting penalized, man, at just critical points in the game. Multiple plays, consecutive plays in a row with penalties. It's just, like, to me, that's just something that in year 4 of any head coach, like, should we be seeing that? Like, isn't that a BV thing? And I'm a huge BV supporter, man. But I don't know what else can it be.
Trying to look up something for you real quick. I'm going to put this on pause. Another one that I was thinking about might be Dave Aranda at Baylor. He may be about to get the axe as well. Not that anybody really cares about Baylor, but they've been hyping him up as the next big thing as far as the defensive mastermind, and he just looks like he's lost his way or something.
Who's that again? Say it again.
Dave Aranda at Baylor.
What happened?
I mean, they are just not winning.
Oh, well.
AB versus the World says Hugh Freeze may have saved his job by benching Jackson Arnold. I didn't know he benched Jackson Arnold. Did he bench Jackson Arnold in that game? Because I didn't watch it. I didn't see that.
Well, now that might make sense on why they won the game. Is that what happened? I did not hear that.
Did you hear about Lane Kiffin talking some smack to your boy David Stone after the game?
Nuh-uh. What'd he say?
Yeah, I'll share it with you. He's always talking smack, man. Ready?
Yeah.
You see that? Can you see that?
Yeah, I can see it.
All right.
Coach Kiffin.
Now than before.
Are you talking a little bit to Oklahoma's players?
This guy yelled at me like during the game like 5 times how great they were and we can't score on them.
Coach Kiffin.
Now than before.
Are you talking a little bit to Oklahoma's players?
This guy yelled at me like during the game like 5 times how great they were and we can't score on them.
Well, now. I don't know if we'll be taking that smack David Stone like that, man. He might whoop his ass right there on the field, man.
That's fair, though. I mean, you talking smack during the game and you lose. I mean, So let's see.
Crazy Anime Gamer says that Florida and LSU are going to war over Kiffin. Well, I got news for you, Crazy Anime Gamer. I hope that you get him if that's what y'all want, because he's one of our few Florida Gators that come up in here. But I'm thinking, and I may be wrong, since Ole Miss beat Oklahoma, I told Killer Breeze I thought if Ole Miss lost Oklahoma that Kiffin would be looking for another job because he wouldn't think he could get there with Ole Miss. But he's getting paid pretty good by Ole Miss. And so I think that if Ole Miss continues to win, they make the playoffs. I don't think Lane Kiffin's going anywhere.
Why would you? I mean, man, he has it made at Ole Miss. The great thing is, as long as he has a year or two like this every once in a while, he can have down years, really bad years, and there will be zero peeps from the Ole Miss fan base about getting rid of Lane Kiffin. So why would you go to LSU or Florida when you can stay in Oxford? And you know damn good and well he can recruit at Ole Miss. What are you laughing at?
Matty D said he was sorry. The video just caught up. I'm just telling you as an attorney, you can't make those accusations without a substance. Take it however you want. He didn't make any kind of real accusations, Matty D. He done.
That's what I'm saying, dude.
We're just having a conversation. We're having a conversation, Matty. We're debating on what did this happen? What did that happen? What did this happen? It's just like people saying, we think OJ killed Nicole. You know what I'm saying? People are allowed to have a freaking opinion, man. I'm tired of the censorship.
First of all,
I'll let you respond since he's the one saying that you're in trouble here.
First of all, his statement is false, and it's in the foundation of his statement is false. He's talking about accusations. I did not say, man, I think this is what is going on. My point is, based on all the circumstances, wouldn't it be funny if we found out that was the reason why? That's what I said. So get it straight. And I don't really care if you're an attorney or not. That impresses me zero. I went to law school. It doesn't impress me, man. I know a shitload of you attorneys, and it doesn't mean dick to me.
Better call Saul. Better call Saul. Like that show?
I love that show. I love that show.
I just don't understand. People's always, it's like they don't want you talking about it, so they try to scare you with this attorney stuff, I guess, or you're going to get in trouble with the law kind of deal.
We got a real, well, but you know what it is? We just have a real problem in this world with people not being able to have any kind of nuance or finesse with or using context. We listen to things and we take the either some crazy perspective completely out of context, or take a complete literal meaning when you know damn good and well that it wasn't meant in a literal way, and you turn it into something that it's not even close to being. I said multiple times it was complete conspiracy theory stuff, that I have zero proof, that I'm not saying it was necessarily true. I've said that multiple times.
That's some liberal hypocrisy stuff, man. That's the liberal spastics out there. Liberal spastics, they don't want you talking about anything they disagree with. If they disagree with it, they don't want you talking about it.
No, but it's also...
You're not allowed to debate it, man. You're not allowed to.
It's also a Sooner fan, or I'm assuming a Sooner fan, which, by the way, is exactly what I am, being way too sensitive, and being, I guarantee you, if he heard me saying the same damn thing about Arch Manning, he wouldn't be reminding me of my legal liabilities. I can promise you that.
That's right. You see right up here in the corner over here, if I can point right over here in the corner?
Yeah.
A little ambulance. That's why I put that on here tonight, because I knew we was going to need a ambulance before it was over with. Turd Ferguson says, as a bully, I must warn you, I make pools. So, your attorney, he makes pools, man.
Matty D is saying he's telling these two clowns to expect a lawsuit. Okay, Matty.
Hey, if you want to, you can get on here and debate it with us and give us a little education. I can send you an invite to come on here right now. Since you're a lawyer, you should be able to debate in person, right? You're used to being in front of a bunch of people and debating. So get your ass on here and educate us. Because obviously you think you're smart. You're the smartest guy in the room at all times. You want me to send you an invite? You want to be on? Just saying.
I'm up for a little legal lecture.
I mean, attorneys are used to being in the limelight, and they're used to, being in front of a bunch of people. So he can't be like Steve Lee's and pretend like he's working, because attorneys don't work at night. We all know they're lazy as hell, and they get off as soon as they can, right? Both in the bedroom and out.
I mean, I know some sharp attorneys. I also know some yahoos that are attorneys.
I'm just like I said, there's some good attorneys out there. I'm just messing with them. I'm just aggravating them a little bit. He ain't gonna come in here.
Well, my point is, you turning something into something that it's not. So stop that. It's just nonsense.
He don't want you talking about it. That's all it is.
Well, again, that would if that is the case, trying to silence someone who's speaking something like this is suggestive of what? I mean, well, once again, so.
Much just like Kurt said,
Thunder brings up a good point. Maybe Matty D, which sounds awfully like Stevie Lee. Maybe Matty D's is Steve Lee's in incognito.
No, it's probably his in Beto. Probably in Beto with Stevie Lee's.
By the way,
like I said,
totally agree. Like I said, there's a lot of good attorneys out there. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, you're right. There are, and I don't think there's any attorneys that would get on here spouting that crap, which makes me think that you're really not an attorney at all. You're just somebody talking shit, and you won't get on here and talk shit because you can't do it. We're professional smack talkers, and you'll be like, That's what happened right there, Maddie. Maddie
Crazy
gets smacked.
Crazy anime gamer says this went from a show about football to roasting attorneys.
That's what happens on here.
Sometimes we take a left turn in Albuquerque there, crazy anime. You know, and by the way, who doesn't like a good attorney roasting session? I mean, we all like that, right?
We're just giving you hell back, Maddie. You know, you don't have to take us to court or nothing, man. I used to like Judge Judy though. That's a pretty good show.
Still love Judge Judy, although she's going all natural now, and strange choice at this stage in her life.
She did what?
She like doesn't do her hair up anymore. She I don't know. Does she wear makeup? I'm not sure if she wears makeup anymore. It's weird. She looks
Maddie's probably got a poster over on the ceiling. He got a poster of Judge Judy on his ceiling over his bed so he can peel his tater. Oh, sorry, that was an accusation. He's gonna sue me for saying he peeled his tater to Judge Judy, man. I'm gonna be accused now.
You're gonna be served. You're about to get served.
Crazy Anime Gamer says, I'm not very smart like you guys, so I probably shouldn't roast anyone smart enough to be an attorney. But the thing is, I don't think Matt's an attorney. I think Matt's just saying that shit, so we'll shut up.
We ain't got no geniuses in this room either, crazy anime. We're not highfalutin.
Yeah, let's see that law degree. Thunder OU Sooner says we need to get you on here and you show us that law degree.
Now Tom says maybe Mateer has a bet on the game. See, Tom says it too. Tom,
we were
by the way,
the whole show,
let us know you can expect a lawsuit. There'll be one coming to you. You have no proof of that.
Yeah, we can't. We're not allowed to make
no jokes in this room.
We're not allowed to debate anything or have an opinion about something that may or may not happen. You know, I guess me saying that Alabama might lose to Oklahoma on homecoming, that's an accusation of epic proportions.
I'm gonna sue.
Yes, he is a ambulance chaser, I think. It says Rick Birdwell.
Well, what's up, Rick? Well,
there's Judge Judy right there. There's Judge Judy. There's Judy Walker. Said she's loving this show tonight. Maddie D. Maddie D sucking the pee. Sucking Stevie Lee's pee.
You're going to get sued. That's happening.
That's
real. But, again, you never know. I'm just saying.
Maddie D might have a poster on the ceiling like Jonathan Lewis. Which one has Jonathan got? I didn't know Jonathan had a poster on his ceiling.
Maddie, you're taking this way too seriously, my man. It ain't that serious. Don't make me sue you, Maddie. I will sue you. I will sue you, Maddie.
What does this mean? Maddie D might has effing idiot. What's that mean? Did you call me an idiot without any proof?
Call me an idiot.
He ain't got no proof of you being an idiot.
Can I sue?
Probably.
I think I can. I think he told me that was my right to sue, and you make an accusation that's not true. You call me an effing idiot. It usually takes people a longer time than that to call me an idiot. So I think is Tim Gillespie, is he a lawyer? No, wait. Tim Gillespie is an insurance agent. We need a lawyer. Somebody want to help? I've got a couple of lawsuits that I want to file, and I need some legal help.
Judy Walker might be able to help you. That's Judge Judy right there. We just talking about you.
I'm just saying.
You got us off track, Maddie. See, even crazy anime gamers confused me. I actually missed the whole attorney thing was about as a player or coach being accused of something. Yeah, we're not accusing anybody. We're just saying, isn't it funny that John Mateer bet on some stuff and then jokingly, supposedly it was a joke, called it sports gambling. And my question to Killer and his question to everybody is, why would you joke about something like that? That don't seem like something would be a joke.
So maybe he actually does partake in some sports gambling. And if he did, maybe something is going on.
I know what we missed. You didn't say the word alleged. They love that word.
Allegedly.
Allegedly.
But that's the thing. I'm not alleging anything. My point is the guy, we have it on film. He is looking at wide open receivers that have no one behind them. These are guaranteed touchdowns, and he's not throwing the ball. And it's not like these are the third, fourth, or fifth progressions in the play. This is read number one, wide effing open, and he's not throwing the ball multiple times. Why? Well, that makes no sense. Maybe he's just flipping out. Maybe he's just not throwing the ball. Maybe he's just not. Maybe we think he's seeing it. Maybe he's looking right at it and he's not seeing it. Maybe. All of that. Okay, yeah, maybe it is. Or maybe he is seeing it and he's not throwing it because he's not wanting to score because he's got into sports gambling. That's my point. And then all of a sudden you go back to the Venmo thing and it's just like, oh, shit. Well, crazier things have happened.
I think
Rozier in Miami right now is looking down the barrel of an FBI indictment because he's doing the same thing. You can't tell me. Like, my point is, wouldn't it be funny if we found out that was going on? I'm not saying that's what happened. I'm not saying that's what it is. That's not my point. I said actually that I have zero proof of that, and the likelihood is probably next to zero.
I don't think it'd be funny. I'd be pretty pissed if I was Oklahoma fans. But, I mean, just because, we made a joke about him hanging out with Terry Rozier, John Mateer and Terry Rozier, it sort of rhymes. They both like to bet on a dime. John Mateer and Terry Rozier like to bet on a dime. So, there you go. We can't help it if John Mateer is a big fan of Terry Rozier. That's not our fault if he likes the Miami Heat and he likes Terry Rozier. It's just a coincidence, man. There's nothing going on there. Nothing to see here.
Just saying.
I told you off there. I told you were going to start some shit, didn't I?
I'm just saying, wouldn't that be funny? It's the first thing when Gabe Eichert was talking about how baffled he was. Like he can't figure, could make zero sense of how he could see that happen at all, much less multiple times. He has no effing clue how John Mateer can be looking right at the guy wide open with no one behind him and not throw the ball.
Rosemary,
or the first down play that you're talking about, the third down play where all he needed was a first, or was it a fourth down? All he needed was a first.
That's right.
And instead of going to a wide open Satania in the middle of the field, he goes down the sideline and doesn't come close.
I think it was
by the way, down the sideline into traffic.
I think it was fourth down, and Ole Miss took over the ball. But Rosemary Lopez, that's a new name in here. She says she thought the rumor was Beamer of South Carolina going to Florida with staff. Well, maybe before this year started, Shane Beamer sort of damaged himself a little bit. I think he might go to Virginia Tech, though, because he may think, hey, it's too hard to win here with South Carolina. He'd probably be better off at Virginia Tech. He could probably win and go to the playoffs a lot easier at Virginia Tech, and that's where he graduated from. And I forgot all about that. Shane Beamer may be another SEC coach is gone.
Well, he is, obviously he didn't want to coach at Virginia Tech because he's on record saying he didn't want to have to follow his dad, in the footsteps of his father. But now, considering that things haven't gone so well at South Carolina in a year that people were expecting South Carolina to be pretty good, considering the way they ended the year last year, winning their last 8 games or something like that, and probably got passed over for the playoff that they should have been in. So having this bad of a year, they're talking about, well, maybe now doesn't look so bad to go over to Virginia Tech and start fresh. And who knows, maybe enough time has passed since his dad has been there that he's not really following in his father's footsteps.
Tim Gillespie says, I can't even speak tonight. Tim Gillespie says it's a super duper double secret judicial injunction to keep Materia throwing a touchdown pass. Stinking lawyers and judges are to blame. That's a tongue twister there, man. You're trying to give me brain sprain over here. So, yeah. Man,
by the way,
we just come here tonight just to discuss all this crap that's going on. And, damn, man, we got the lawyers coming out, man. We've even got the lawyers coming out now.
By the way, we do have 60. We've been hovering around 60 or so in the chat tonight, so we appreciate that. Smash that like button if you can. All of that helps. 82. We appreciate it.
It's actually up to 82.
Yeah, there you go.
So yeah, smash that like button. And as I said before in the show, I hate to keep begging for money, but they demonetized my channel. If you want to donate to the show, money dollar sign JPC 316. I'm demonetized to December 14th for resharing Charlie Kirk TikTok videos.
ABV World says Beamer would get chewed up by the Florida expectations and media. I think that's certainly going to be true of anyone that goes to coach at Florida. They, after Spurrier and Urban, they have high expectations. They know what is capable at Florida. And Florida's been a shell of itself for a while now. So
Florida just needs to hire John Gruden. John Gruden would be a perfect fit there.
He does, having been coach at Tampa. I mean, I could see him in Gainesville.
My question is, would he be able to coach at the college level? I mean, Bill Belichick's completely crap.
I think so, man. John Gruden looks like he would be one of the few coaches from the professional leagues that would actually enjoy the recruiting and the interaction with the players and being able to affect them as men.
Sort of like Pete
Carroll.
Carroll.
Don't really get to do that but Pete Carroll is a dumbass, and I actually think John Gruden is a pretty good guy.
Yeah. Now I think a guy like Mike Tomlin could probably do good on the college level. The Pittsburgh coach. What do you think?
Who?
Mike Tomlin, Pittsburgh's head coach.
To be the coach where?
Anywhere in college. In college. If he decided that, he didn't want to do NFL, let's say he decided he didn't want to do it NFL anymore, and he wanted to go to college.
No.
You think he'd be a good college coach?
No.
Mike Tomlin? No.
No, man. Mike Tomlin doesn't want to do any recruiting or get involved with the players. He ain't trying to do that. I mean, maybe I'm wrong, but I would be shocked if Mike Tomlin would want to be a college coach.
You're going to make Oklahoma fans mad, man. They get mad when you talk about this. Florida should see if Bob Stoops wants to come out of retirement and he can get started.
Not happening.
He won a title.
Not happening. That would never happen. He's not going to do that.
You cannot convince the Oklahoma fans that he will coach anywhere else.
He won't.
They think they got this magic spell over him.
He won't.
It's called Sooner Magic.
He will not coach anywhere else.
Even though he's coached in the XFL.
He's never going to coach in college ever again. There is no chance in hell he will coach ever again in college. None. Not going to happen.
They said about an Urban Liar, too, and he ended up at Ohio State.
No. That's not going to happen, man. There's no chance. No chance.
If we let go of Kalen DeBoer, we're going to go after Bob Stoops. We're going to show y'all. There ain't no Sooner Magic.
No chance. None.
You're like Vince McMahon. No chance. No chance in hell.
I'll say this. There's one school that if Bob Stoops wanted to come back in college and coach, there's one place where I would hate to see Bob Stoops coaching for anybody else but Oklahoma. But if he went back to this one place, I would be okay with it. Do you know what? Do you take a guess? Can you guess? What about the chat?
Ohio State.
What about the no? It's not Ohio State. Hell no. What about the chat? ABV World. ABV
Notre
World.
Dame.
ABV World. What's
Notre
up,
Dame.
man? Not Notre Dame. No.
But he sure as hell wouldn't go to Iowa.
That's the one place where I would be okay. That would be
Yeah,
it.
of course. You don't see Iowa as a threat.
Well, that's why I'd be okay with it. He played there.
All
So-
kidding aside, I did hear that Notre Dame was one of his dream jobs at one time.
No, I mean, I wouldn't doubt that.
Because he's from that area, right? Ain't he from Ohio? Ohio, Indiana area?
Yeah,
He's in that Midwest area.
Yes, he's from Ohio. And he so yeah, Notre Dame. I mean, and plus Notre Dame, just the history of college football, Notre Dame's always gonna be
LSU might get Bob Stoops.
no
Then you'd
chance.
be great, man. You'd have Bob Stoops for both your teams in.
No chance, man. No chance. Hell no, I'm not letting him go to K-State. Absolutely not. No chance.
He wouldn't go to Coast State.
Iowa is the only place. That's it.
Michael Hapgood said
Even then, I'm not really thrilled about it.
Michael Hapgood said Okie Pokey Chokey State's calling Brian Kelly right now. That'd be a good spot for him because at Oklahoma State you can go 8-4 every year and they're happy. Plus they don't have to play Oklahoma anymore, so they can keep that trophy forever because they're a bunch of puddings.
I could see him going to. I could definitely see him going to Oklahoma State. That seems like kind of the level he's gonna potentially be able to coach at again.
You know, John Gruden.
What's that?
I said, John Gruden was like advertising himself for the Arkansas job. He had Arkansas stuff at his house and was talking about it and shit. I bet he's thinking now, man, why didn't I just wait? Now I could be asking for the LSU Florida job.
Well, I mean, I could see Gruden at Arkansas as well too, man. I think I could see Gruden at almost any school in the SEC. But with his coaching history at Tampa, Florida would be probably a pretty good fit for him too.
The interesting one to me is Dabo Swinney. I'm wondering if that shit might happen because I've heard it before.
Well, it's interesting that the LSU room or early rumors that they would try to that Dabo was one of the people they would try to get again. It'd be kind of funny him going from the Clemson Death Valley to the real Death Valley in Baton Rouge because we all know that Death Valley in Clemson is bullshit. But that would be interesting, and I could see that happening. And I think Dabo is a good coach, and if he's humbled enough, and could prove to the folks hiring at LSU that he would evolve a little bit with the game and with regard to NIL and the portal. I think maybe Dabo at LSU might be a good spot.
Mm-hmm.
I could see that.
Kuz's Corner says he thinks that Kelly would be a good hire for Oklahoma State too.
I agree with Kuz. I think Oklahoma State again is a seems like that's kind of what I would expect, kind of a landing spot for him to be. I
heard LSU talking about Rich Rodriguez too.
Now you're just trying to stir the pot with Kuz. Now that's what you're doing. That's what you're doing, man. Come on. You know what you're doing.
You had to think about it for a little bit.
You know what you're doing, man. Yeah. Kuz, I'm not falling for it.
If Rich Rod hadn't done so bad in his first year at West Virginia, he might be up for some bigger jobs right now, but he's not doing too well.
Well,
see, they're 2-6. My bad.
It hasn't been a great start for Rich Rod, but you know what? That doesn't really mean anything. There's a lot of coaches that don't have great first years.
No, I don't. You're right.
A lot
of people don't realize this, but Bear Bryant went 1-10 his first year at A&M. When he was the head coach at Texas A&M, Bear Bryant started out 1-10.
Well, also though, think about this. I mean, it's not like Rich Rod came into a loaded program. Neil Brown didn't do so great with the roster. At least that's how it seemed. Granted, I don't know the team nearly as good as Kuz does. I'm sure if I'm wrong, I mean no disrespect. But it seemed like the roster was certainly not as good as it's been in the past at West Virginia before. And so Rich Rod is completely starting over. I mean, I think that's
Well,
definitely the
he
case.
brought in a shitload of players too.
And he
Oh,
and he brought in a bunch of players, and you know damn good and well that there's always going to be some friction between when you got a big incoming new group. They themselves become like this, they have that all in common, right? So there's unity in that, and that might be, cause some friction with the. I'm not saying that happened. That's complete speculation, um, but Rich Rod, I think you need to just give him a little bit of time before you can make any real judgments about what's going on there. Certainly, if he can get it figured out, it has the potential of being a really good thing. So
it's pretty crazy though, man. How at the beginning of the year, everybody was ballyhooing the Florida State coach, like he turned the corner when they beat Alabama, and everybody was talking about firing our coach here at Alabama. Lewis Hinton's in the house. Roll Tide roll, says Lewis Hinton, doing this for Lewis. How it's turned on a dime, man. It's just like now nobody's talking about firing Kalen DeBoer, and everybody's talking about firing the Florida State coach. It's just crazy nowadays.
yeah, I was just thinking about that actually yesterday. It's just like, it's funny after the Florida State loss, everybody's talking about, oh, Alabama's, is done. And now here we sit after week 9 and most people think they're the best team in the SEC, and Florida State is probably not going to be bowl eligible and going to fire their coach.
It's just crazy. And Alabama, they've been barely getting by in some of those games. We could have easily lost a couple of those games, but they were, from what I understand around here, there was people looking into the buyout of Kalen DeBoer, and now nothing's being said at all. Of course, I think you probably get in the playoffs this year with 3 losses. Some teams.
I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see like how many teams really do make it in with 3 losses. I don't know how much of that's actually going to really happen. Obviously a lot of 2-loss teams for sure, but I just don't know if you're going to end up with a bunch of 3-loss teams when it's all said and done.
So what was your take on that game with Alabama and South Carolina? As an outsider looking in, does it worry you that maybe Alabama, like I said, we squeaked by in a couple of those games, maybe people are just jumping on the Alabama bandwagon and they're the flavor of the week, and Alabama's on the verge of maybe losing a game or 2?
Well, I just think what my takeaway was? My takeaway was just that I think in today's SEC, on any given Saturday, it's like the NFL, man. It is literally week to week,
Yep.
In the NFL, it's literally week to week. Your team looks great one week, they look horrible the next week. They look, they just up and down. All you just see that a lot.
Well, the worst team in the NFL can beat the best team on a given Sunday. Seriously.
Yeah. And I feel like, especially now with the SEC having separated itself so much from even the Big Ten, I don't care what anyone says. With them, it's elevated. All teams rise, all ships rise with the tide, man. So all of these SEC teams have talent. It's not like the old days where the talent was really concentrated up at the top. Now, with all these players wanting to actually play and get paid, you got a lot more evening out. The talent is much more spread out, So it just seems like it's hard to play at a super high level every week, week in and week out. You usually have some letdowns along the way. And when you have letdowns, when the competition is generally high, like it is in the SEC. When you have letdowns, you're usually going to lose, you know?
We should have probably lost that game.
But the thing is, it doesn't mean that, like, okay, so let's say Alabama would have lost that game, you know? It doesn't really mean anything. It doesn't also mean that Alabama can't all of a sudden catch fire and go on a 4-game run, including the playoffs, and just dominate.
That's what they do in the NFL.
You know, well, that's right. I totally agree.
Most of the teams that are top seeds in the NFL, most top seeds have about 3 losses.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You know, it's rare in the NFL for a team to finish undefeated or with 1 loss or 2 losses. Very rare. Doesn't happen very much. You might have 1 or 2 teams that finish with 1 or 2 losses a year. You know, it's usually, like you said, it's usually 3 or 4 losses, 5 losses. It's not that uncommon, you know.
Well, you've had teams win the Super Bowl with 7 losses. Didn't the Giants win it one year with 7 losses?
I think so.
That's the team that beat the undefeated Patriots.
I was about to say, I think that was the Eli team that beat the undefeated Patriots. So yeah, you know, and that's what it seemed like to me when Alabama, you know, didn't dominate like I thought they would. I thought the line was off in that game. I thought that Bama was going to win by a couple of touchdowns or more, and you know,
it's funny how Vegas always knows, huh?
Yeah, Vegas is. This is why they're Vegas. That's why they keep building those big shiny buildings.
Hell yeah, that's why they got. Keep forgetting his name. What's the guy's name from Miami that got caught up?
Rozier?
Yeah. That's why Vegas employs people like Terry Rozier and John Mateer. Terry Rozier and John Mateer.
We should have gotten Coos on the show and seen what he thought about all the gambling and what does he think it's has it infiltrated college or is that coming?
Crazy Anime Gamer says to be honest with me, fellas. Who's left on Florida's schedule that they have a chance to beat? Well, I got Florida's schedule right here in front of me. Y'all play Georgia next. I don't think y'all beat Georgia. Y'all might because y'all did beat Texas. Then y'all play at Kentucky. I think y'all can beat Kentucky. Then y'all play Ole Miss. Y'all probably lose that one. You'll play Tennessee. Probably lose that one. And you play Florida State. So I think you could probably win 2 more games. What do you think, Killer? Florida Gators remaining schedule. Let me bring it up so you can see it.
Yeah, let me see it.
You see that? It's too small.
It's a little small, but I think I can make it out.
All right, well, they play Georgia.
They got Georgia. They've got Kentucky.
That's right.
They've got Ole Miss and Tennessee, and then Florida State to end the year. Is that right?
Yeah, it looks like 2 wins right there.
I was just about to say, well, they're definitely going to get they win Kentucky and they win Florida State, right?
That's right.
They probably lose to Ole Miss. They probably lose to Georgia.
Now, that being said, Florida did upset Ole Miss last year and screw them out of the playoffs.
Yeah, I don't know if that's going to happen this year, though.
Florida's defense is so good that it can keep them in games. It can keep them in games.
What do you think about Tennessee? What is your take on Tennessee? Or people in the chat? What do y'all think? What is the deal? What do we think about Tennessee? Is Tennessee a legit?
They don't have a defense, man.
National championship contender.
They give up 34 points to Kentucky.
Yeah.
And 27 of that was not garbage. Now, the last touchdown maybe, but they still give up 34 points. 34 points to Kentucky, 41 to Georgia. Who else was it they played?
It's really going to piss me off if we don't put up as many points as Kentucky put up on Tennessee. It's going to really bum me out, man.
We barely beat it. We got 37 on them, but we held them to 20.
It's going to bum me out, man. I'm just praying that, again, speaking of being a week-to-week, league, I'm actually just praying that with this loss to Ole Miss, and everybody's going to be down on Oklahoma, everybody's going to be down on BV, everybody's going to be down on Mateer. Maybe, just maybe, they come in under the radar and they actually get their act together, and they somehow come out of Tennessee to win. It's going to be tough though, because it's going to be on the road at night in that loud ass stadium. Tennessee fans are annoying AF, so it's not going to be an easy environment.
I'll be rooting for y'all because I hate Tennessee. I hate them more than do Auburn.
Wouldn't you agree that it's not necessarily an easy place to play? It's not
necessarily because they're fans, man, because them seats are misleading. They list that place at 100-something thousand. But I've talked to friends that went up there, and they said the seats are like this. They just squish them in there like sardines, man.
Yeah.
And it stinks to high hell in there, and they throw mustard bottles and sardine cans and golf balls at Lane Kiffin. They're some of the worst fans in the SEC, in my opinion, is Tennessee. LSU fans take a bad rap, but LSU fans aren't bad to me. They just like to party. It's a difference in liking the party and being the dumbass at the party.
Here's what's going to happen to you if you go to an LSU game. The worst thing that's going to happen to you is you're going to have bourbon rain down upon you from up above. Because when they score, it's kind of a tradition when they score that if you're holding a drink, that you throw the drink. So it just rains down Coke and bourbon,
Well, as long as I don't get hit by no bottle, I'll be all right.
Yeah. Brad Bryant, by the way, has a famous quote talking about how he knows he's in Tiger Stadium when he can smell the bourbon in the end zone.
Yeah. You know what?
He also said Tiger Stadium felt like being inside the middle of a bass drum.
He also probably said, and he didn't say it out loud, it felt like home to him because he was drunk all the time.
He liked to tie one on.
He did. He had that tower up there, man. They give this legendary status to. They used to stay up in, like he was looking over everybody. He's up there asleep, man.
That's great.
He's just letting the assistants run the show there the last 5 or 6 years, man. Rest his soul.
That's awesome, man. You gotta miss characters like that, You gotta love characters. That's why I miss. He wasn't a drunk, but I miss Steve Spurrier, man.
A lot of bad refereeing takes place in that stadium too, so y'all better be watching out for that shit.
Dude, I find the refereeing in the SEC in general is terrible.
It's all terrible everywhere. It's just college football, man. It sucks when it comes to officiating.
But it's bad in the SEC, man.
It's getting bad, man. They already suspended one of them for the year.
Yeah, what games was he a part of that got him in trouble? What did he miss?
He overturned that, or he called that game where Auburn broke the plane, and Georgia would have went up 17-0. They probably would have beat Georgia had they went up 17-0 at halftime.
Yeah,
because Hugh Freeze lost his shit in that interview.
Yeah, he did.
At halftime, man, you could tell he was shaking, man. He even admitted it on the Paul Feinbaum show that he wasn't able to recover in the locker room. And I'm like, I wouldn't have said that shit out loud because now you're gonna get your ass fired, probably. I wouldn't admit to that for nothing.
That's true. That's definitely true.
All right, brother, you ready to get up out of here?
Yeah, man, I had fun tonight. I appreciate everybody in the chat. It was good hanging out with everyone. Just
like Judy Walker said, she come into this show and didn't expect to enjoy it as much as she did. It had a little bit of everything. We even had a few law classes in here tonight.
That's right. Expect a lawsuit, Maddie. I'm not playing around with your ass. I'll talk to you later, man. Everybody in the chat, y'all have a good night.
All right. That was Killer Breeze, the Oklahoma Roughneck, joining us again, giving us his take on things. Probably pissed off a few of his own Oklahoma fans tonight. talking about Mature and Rozier hand in hand, gambling on games. He thinks that Mature maybe suspiciously missed on some of those passes on purpose. That's just his opinion. It's not an accusation. As our resident lawyer, Matty D, would have you believe. All right, any other questions tonight before I get up out of here? The forum is open to all of you. If you want to ask me any questions before I get out of here. Kayla Taylor says, Sean James, yes, Arbuckle finds something that works and abandons it. I don't understand it. Well, Killer Breeze was talking about that with the running game. Your Xavier Robinson touched the ball 9 times, and was like averaging 7 or 8 yards a carry or something. And for some reason, they would not get the ball to him. Turd Ferguson says, GG, Boomer, and roll. That's right, Turd. Turd educated our attorney in here and made him tap out, I think. Poor old Matty D. Crazy Anime Gamer says, great show. As usual, Outlaw. I love seeing the Sooner guy on here. Yep, we got a lot of Sooners in here. I'll give it to them. The Oklahoma Sooners bring it on social media. One of the most vocal fan bases on social media that I've ever encountered is the Oklahoma Sooners, and that's why I like them so much. That's why we are the 2 Crimson Nations, as you can see right here. Hell, we even got Indiana in the mix now. Indiana's crimson. I forgot Indiana was crimson. I thought they were red, but they're not. They're crimson and cream. Well, if y'all ain't got nothing else for me, if you don't mind, like I said before, if you want to donate to the program, because I got demonetized to December 14th for resharing Charlie Kirk videos, you can donate to the show via Cash App, money $sign JPC316, or on Venmo under JPC316 as well. KMCA to all the other teams, class is now officially dismissed.